here's Ed Bernstein.
You know, we're always happy on the Ed Bernstein Show to talk about health issues, medical issues, self-help issues. And one of the things that we do like to talk about, because we get a lot of response about it, is TM meditation, Transcendental Meditation. And with me today to talk about it are Michael Williams, David Hakan, that you run the TM Center on West Sahara, right? Where exactly is that?
Yeah, it's on West Sahara, 8360 West Sahara, and we've been there for a while, and that's where we teach people TM, and then they get to do their follow-up program for life with us.
Now, most people, when they think of Transcendental Meditation, they have visions of the Beatles and the Maharishi and the 60s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I think it's good because everybody loves the Beatles, and Maharishi was in a great. It was a great time when the Beatles went to study with Maharishi, and they learned how to meditate, and it actually inspired their whole White Album and some of the other great songs. Mm-hmm. So they wrote them all there at the ashram in India.
But here we are in 2016, mm-hmm. and it seems like it's not really people, rock groups that are promoting TM, but it's doctors, hospitals, right? Well, why the change?
Well, it was really just the reality of Transcendental Meditation is that it provides a very deep state of rest. And that rest, it's twice as deep as any time during sleep. So it's the only way, rest is the only way that the body knows how to heal. And so the doctors have found, out of 630 studies in 50 years, they found that deep rest impacts blood pressure, it impacts cholesterol levels, it impacts heart health, diabetes, all these kinds of things that medical research has proven.
And there has been a lot of research with TM. It's my understanding that even that what the American Heart Association validates TM is working to lower blood pressure and help heart disease?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The American Heart Association about 3 years ago sent out a letter saying that the Transcendental Meditation technique is the only technique that lowers high blood pressure, and they even singled out mindfulness meditation, which seems to be sort of the latest thing that's come out in the American population. So it's easy, it's effortless. You sit in a chair, you close your eyes, and the mind settles down to levels of twice as deep as sleep, and the body gets profound rest, as David has said, and then stress is automatically spontaneously released. You get up after your 20 minutes and you blast off into activity, and your day's more dynamic, you have more energy, you have more happiness, and then you do it when you come home, and you totally de-stress so you can really enjoy your evening time with your family, friends, co-workers, whatever.
In a few minutes we're going to demonstrate what TM really looks like, but what is TM? I mean, it involves a mantra, mm-hmm. right, mm-hmm. which separates it from other typical mm-hmm. Meditation mm-hmm. techniques, correct? Mm-hmm. You want to define a mantra, Michael?
Yes, a mantra, when you learn the TM technique, we give you a particular sound, and it's a sound that has no meaning. It's known for its sound quality only, so automatically the mind will start to settle down on its own accord without trying, focusing, concentrating. In TM, you don't try to block out your thoughts, which other techniques teach you how to do, and automatically the mind settles down because of the mantra has no meaning, and that's how you get that deep, deep rest.
Yeah, and is that primarily the thing that distinguishes TM from other types of meditation?
In a way, it's not just the mantra, it's the technique how to use it and how to use it properly. And that really distinguishes it from everything else because TM does not utilize any kind of concentration or contemplation. There's no effort on the mind, and every other meditation is about focusing or listening or something conscious. TM allows the mind to experience the deepest levels of awareness, which is very silent. It's very much like the ocean. You know, you could have on the surface level, our activity level all day is it's like the waves of the ocean, crazy. Mm-hmm. We got to do this, got to go there, got to do that. But when we meditate, we experience those most quiet, silent levels of the mind, similar to the ocean. No matter what's going on the surface, there's silence at the base of the ocean. And that's where the attention goes in meditation, which allows for the deep rest. Once the mind reduces activity, then the body automatically follows. And that's what's different than all the other meditations.
Dr. Oz is an advocate also of TM meditation. We have a clip from his show. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Great.
This meditation, we believe, can help a lot of people. And it's important to understand exactly how it affects stress, which of course impacts our physiology, and in particular, how TM reduces stress and stress-related disorders. So I'm going to walk you through a couple important tips. This first image is my office. And like many of you, I sit in my office day in and day out thinking about what the heck am I doing wrong. Makes me churning up the waters, so I'm on that surface in that ripply water in a canoe and not doing so well. So let me explain to you, because I'm a heart surgeon, how I see stress in the heart. And this is an animation that I think will bring it alive pretty nicely. This is the middle of the heart. See that it's ruptured, that little plaque that cracked? That plaque that cracked leaves a raw surface on the inside of the heart vessel. And that vessel starts to heal itself over. It puts a scab on it. And that scab gets larger and larger like you would anywhere in the body. But in the heart, it does something catastrophic. Kaboom! Right there, it closes over the artery. And when it closes over the artery, what you just saw was the leading cause of death in the Western world. Now, what can Transcendental Meditation do about that? It's a remarkable process. I'll show it to you real quick again. You've got a scab inside the artery, a plaque ruptures, and it's not the plaque that kills you, it's the scab on top of it. And that arterial surface, that lumen, that tube that's carrying life-sustaining blood, in this case to the major vessel of your artery, is what causes death. Now, let's scroll forward and talk a little bit about how it works. If you look at what it fundamentally does, Transcendental Meditation, this is a study done with subjects with high blood cholesterol. It's a 1-year study looking at people who practiced TM for that year. And it was associated with a significant reduction in total cholesterol by about 10%. That's 30 millimeters of cholesterol. Now, if you're on a medication for cholesterol, we hope you can get 30 millimeters lower in your blood cholesterol. Well, this happened through Transcendental Meditation alone. Cholesterol is the first big risk factor we talk about with heart disease. The second big risk factor, this is a randomized clinical trial finding improvement in the levels of insulin resistance, glucose, even insulin levels themselves in over 100 people who had coronary blockages after just 4 months, 16 weeks of TM practice. Dramatic changes reflected that were significantly greater than just teaching people about their health. That's the second part of the problem we have with heart disease, which is diabetes. The third big one, but this one, by the way, was funded by the NIH. So it's a reputable organization supporting this work. The next study looked at a randomized trial of hypertension sufferers, people with high blood pressure, showing that Transcendental Meditation produced significant reductions in systolic and diastolic, the high number and the low number of the blood pressure, of 11 and 6 millimeters respectively. Those are big numbers. We don't get that kind of result all the time with medications. Now, those three things, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and high blood sugar, those three things drive heart disease. And this last image is probably, for me, the most important. This is an image looking at Transcendental Meditation effects on reducing mortality, heart disease, and stroke. By how much? By 47%. It was a long-term randomized trial in older African-American patients with coronary disease. This kind of a stunning impact, unimaginable in the Transcendental Meditation group. And when you talk about all causes of death, and you can reduce them by that much, as well as non-fatal strokes and non-fatal heart attacks, these are spectacularly large impacts. Now, that's the data. That's the hard data about how we can get people to live longer and live better. Now, let's talk about one other little issue of vanity. Obesity. Could it potentially impact on weight loss? So loss of weight, in theory, is a pretty reasonable thing to expect if you can reduce stress. Because what is chronic stress? Fundamentally, chronic stress 1,000 years ago was not a deadline. Fundamentally, chronic stress is famine. It's not having enough food. That's what used to cause us to get stressed out. So what happens when you get stressed? You immediately upregulate these chemicals in the brain called cannabinoids. Sound familiar? Like cannabis? You turn them on, it's like you're smoking pot. You get the munchies. So you eat more foods that you don't even like, and you keep eating them throughout the day, even if you're not hungry. Which is, of course, if you were starving 1,000 years ago, what you wanted to do. So let me explain what happens with this animation. Exactly. Now, this is an animation showing the liver at the top there, and the bile, the little material from the intestines going up to the liver. The liver, if it's poisoned with the wrong kind of food, leads to a fatty surface as you see here. And that fatty surface leads ultimately to this yellow pad called the omentum. See, it pulls ponderously large across your belly as you put on belly fat. When I look at belly fat, what I think is a stressed out person. because we accumulate belly fat for a very particular reason. That belly fat accumulates because it's a receptor for steroids of the body. And the cortisol released, the stress hormones released when you are stressed out, will accumulate. They get sucked up in the belly fat. Why? Because if you can accumulate belly fat, again 1,000 years ago, you could mainline it to your liver. You could quickly shove it into your body if you were starving. So our ancestors desperately needed this protective mechanism. We don't need it anymore. Now, the anxiety that I'm talking about that leads to overeating and many other problems paralyzes the ability of its sufferers to function normally. We've all experienced that. But I want to talk a little bit now about the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, which are not just prevalent in the people who have fought in battle and come back from combat, but in young children growing up in our inner cities, in war-torn regions of the world. It's also exhibited in post-traumatic stress disorder type phenomenon with severe anxiety, depression, violent behavior, impulsive behavior, and we have to equip our youth with tools to cope with this. As we do have to equip the homeless, impoverished individuals living on reservations across this country, they need the tools to be able to cope with the traumatic stress of their lives. And this is where the good works of the David Lynch Foundation come in, because that's what they're focusing on. They're working with people who are most...
Well, he makes a very compelling case.
Yeah.
Very compelling. And we have a chart we're going to put up just to keep with the science a little bit of the decrease in number of hospital admissions for different diseases compared to the people who meditate with TM compared to people who do not. And as you can see, the green lines are the people who do meditate. So you have, I mean, when I look at the first one, childbirth, is kind of misleading because it's people who do TM tend to visit their obstetricians more often. But the rest of these, intestinal, you go into like the fourth one, which is heart, and you'll see the red line. You can put the charts back up. The fourth one from the left. The red line is all other groups, and the TM group is so low it's almost non-existent for people, heart disease, for people who do transcendental meditation. So we are fortunate enough here in Las Vegas to have a TM center, and people are going to be rushing over now because you don't need blood pressure medication. You don't need. Sometimes you can get rid of your diabetes medication, right? And he talked about the post-traumatic stress disorder, which is such a problem here in Las Vegas with all the former veterans and service people we have here. Significant problem. What is the difference between TM and any other form of meditation?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very simple. Transcendental meditation, as I said earlier, allows for the mental activity to refine. We experience a very silent part of the mind at that moment, that reduction of the awareness. And at the same time, the body takes on a very deep state of rest. That's been proven, twice as deep as any time during sleep. Whereas any other meditation, because it's concentration or contemplation, is keeping the attention on the conscious outer level of the mind thinking. And so there's no reduction of metabolic rate and oxygen consumption that's significant like transcendental meditation. It's very simple.
And why do you have to learn it? I mean, what is the secret?
Well, I said the same thing. I was 22 years old. I was graduating from UNLV in special education, and I go, I went to this introductory talk, and to learn the TM technique, you get a particular sound or a mantra, which allows them, which we are trained from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi many years ago to do this. Select the correct mantra for the individual, which allows the mind to settle down. And because the technique is so easy and simple and not like everything else, you need a TM checking every now and then, and you have that available to you for life. As part of actually it's free for life, for the rest of your life. You get a TM checking, just takes about 20-30 minutes. So that's why it works so easily and so effectively, as David has said, spontaneously. And as we talked about earlier, I've taught kids that are mentally challenged, have very low IQs, and they can practice this technique. It's that simple to do.
ADHD also.
ADHD, ADD. I taught autistic kids. There's already scientific research on autism.
How old do you have to be to?
4. 4 years old. You have a
4 to 4.
walking technique, and then when you're 10 years old, you sit down and close your eyes.
Now, people have this picture in their mind of what meditation looks like. So I'm going to ask you guys if you can, like, let's take 60 seconds.
Okay.
And just demonstrate what it looks like to meditate. Now, to our audience, it may, you know, they may think we're off the air or something.
Yeah, right.
But having your hands in a certain position, your legs in a certain position is not true, right?
We just sit comfortably 20 minutes twice a day, eyes closed, in any comfortable position, and that's it. So you better have something to talk about while we're meditating, okay?
Well, we'll play a little bit of music.
Okay, good, okay.
I feel like I'm intruding.
No.
But I mean, how long is it? Like in that short period of time, were you able to actually meditate, or is there a process of getting deeper? Or how does that work?
Yes. Already, just within a few seconds, my metabolic rate was starting to slow down all by itself. And in just a short time, so the longer you practice the technique, then the deeper you go. And of course, that's why there's over 750 research studies showing all these changes take place to reversing of the aging process, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you talked about 20 minutes twice a day. What if you don't have 20 minutes twice a day?
Well, you do what you can. But you find that it's a matter of priorities. There's the only effort in the entire Transcendental Meditation technique is to actually sit down. Because we're creatures of habit. We've been doing things the same way for so many years, and now we're going to introduce a new 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon. And most people have no problem with it. There's a lot of executives that we've taught that have actually a set appointment with their assistants, know that their boss is not available for calls or meetings at 2:30 in the afternoon or 3:30, whatever it is.
Howard Stern does that after every radio show that he does.
Nobody bothers him because that's the priority for him. You find that the results of this 20 minutes of meditation are so profound in terms of how you feel afterwards and how your activity is after, your level of action. And so you just find that you don't want to skip. There's no reason to. It's really the best way to prepare for activity.
I think we have another video. Let me see here. Oh, okay. All right. I mentioned Howard Stern, but there's an awful lot of celebrities that really vouch for meditation, really depend on it for their health and sanity. So this video talks about who some of the celebrities are, and I think even they just may talk about it, right?
Yes, it's really good.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's take a look.
I looked inside. I was hollow in the happiness department, and I said, I gotta get that, and so I started a Transcendental Meditation.
A year ago this month, I was suicidal. I felt so low that I wanted to just not be here.
I got pregnant at 13. My mom, she got deported 2 years ago. Sometimes I cry because it's just too much tension.
We were attacked at this place called Buddha. The first night, I killed 14 people.
The number of women and girls who are raped and tortured and killed in war-torn areas around the globe is literally beyond comprehension.
My in-laws turned against me. They tortured me, almost killed me.
I always thought I sort of had a low-grade depression here, but it really was. Ever since probably 10 years old, I just really been miserable with being myself.
I was just so frustrated, full of misguided anger. I didn't know where to direct it to.
I lost 4 members of my family. Diabetes. I don't want that to happen to my people.
Sorrow, anxiety, traumatic stress, depression, hate, anger, rage, fear start to lift away. Life just gets better and better and better.
When it's calm and still, even what struggle becomes beauty.
I used to say, I'm gonna get my grades up, I'm gonna do better. But yeah, it was just what I said. It never happened until I started meditating.
I think every barrio, ghetto school in America has to have the fundamental right of having an opportunity to do this type of thing.
Stay regular in your meditation. Don't let anybody take it away, and you will unfold your full potential.
The kids love it. The kids in the West Bank love it. The kids in Brazil love it. I think this is what people need. They don't need high-minded talk so much as results.
Speaking as a scientist, the amazing thing about Transcendental Meditation is the very well-established research showing that the technique impacts things that we didn't think were changeable.
Since I started TM, my sugar's been where it should be. So I'm sold on TM.
The initial research on the effects of Transcendental Meditation in treating PTSD offers so much hope, better than many things being tried at far less a cost.
Transcendental meditation saved my life. Today, I can say I am a meditator.
I'm meditating 37 years.
I've been using it for almost 40 years.
It is the only time I have that stillness long enough that I open my eyes and I'm sad that it's 20 minutes later.
If you take out time and just meditate and just let everything go, free your mind, everything will come together.
Just this last month, I felt so much energy. It's been amazing.
All that feeling of heaviness, I could feel it melt away. It was absolutely transformational.
I've found that there is an ever-present sanctuary within me.
People tell me, you look very calm, you look very relaxed. And there's not a whole lot of craziness. I'm just sitting there calm, and it's surprising even to me.
I had a lot of problems in my life, and TM came into my life and gave me this open door to something that I never knew it would be.
Those days I used to cry too much, but now even the tears are holding. I'm great.
It comes back to the core of who you are as a person and what you're made of, and you have to give yourself a chance.
Real change for the good truly begins within.
Transcendental meditation can save lives, and it's going to save some more lives.
Well, that's a diverse number of people, advocating for TM with their experiences. What happened? I meant to ask you, when you're doing 20 minutes, you're meditating. You ever fall asleep?
Yeah, you could fall asleep if you hit a big pocket of stress. You might doze off for a couple minutes or so or whatever, right. And then when your body's finished releasing that stress, you wake back up, and then you just continue your TM technique, and then after 20 minutes, you feel more rested than you had 8 hours of sleep, obviously, and then you're ready to just blast off for your day.
David Lynch, who has this foundation, how did he get involved?
Well, he just decided one day that he was this was such a impactful technique, and but everybody couldn't afford it. So he started a foundation and has raised millions of dollars to fund the teaching all over the world of all these diverse groups. School children from Brazil, abused women in Africa, All sorts
Prisoners?
of people. Prisoners in prisons, yes, they've had courses there. So
Schools.
Yeah, we're not in Clark County. We don't have any such program.
No, we don't have anything like that, and it would be great if somebody's listening. Give a shout out. We need to try one high school, go in and transform that school, just like they've done in San Francisco. They have several high schools, middle schools. The whole school board practices TM, and they've endorsed it. They want every single kid to have the opportunity to learn this technique because their GPAs go up, recidivism goes down, graduation rates go way up.
And I should mention that we talked a lot about the health benefits, but this is not exclusively for people who are ill.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Busy executives, A-type personalities really participate in this. Yeah.
There's a lot of businessmen. Wall Street is big on TM now. There have been a lot of articles because it really just, what it does is it allows your mind to be more effective and allows you to be less stressed. And everything works better when there's less stress in your physiology.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how, when I first started hearing about TM in the 60s, and it seemed like so out there, and now it's just so very mainstream.
It is, yeah. People nowadays, when they learn TM, they say, if only I would have started back then when I heard about it.
Yeah,
It seems to be.
And for those people who are able to start now, where do they go? Michael?
Just go to the website, get in there.
TM.org.
www.tm.org.
Right.
And make contact with us. We'll call you right back. Call us if you have any particular questions about your particular health issue that you may have or not. Maybe you want all your employees to learn the TM technique to be more dynamic.
An individual class as well as group classes?
Yeah, we'll make it work for anybody that wants to learn. There's regular classes every week.
It's called the TM Center?
Yes, Transcendental Meditation of Las Vegas.
Okay. Thank you very much. Michael Williams and David Hakan, thank you very much.
Thanks.
See you guys next week. Time can change many things, but what doesn't change is our commitment to serve you. So if you've been injured in an accident, or if you need help in your Social Security or workers' comp case, we can get you the best possible result.
Enough said. Call Ed. EdBernstein.com.